Back again with more comment from Pat Buchanan of MSNBC, Rachel Maddow of Air America and MSNBC. We'll pick up on Pat's point, Rachel, that when asked about Iran and Israel, Barack Obama said that the #1 issue here was keeping nukes out of the hands of the Iranians and Ahmadinejad. And Senator Clinton did indeed say that any attacks on Israel by Iran would have to be viewed as requiring massive American response. Where is that going to go? Did that come out of left field?
Well, beyond that even, talking about expanding kind of this umbrella of American protection so that it's not just Israel. I mean, the discussion between the two of them on that was a profound change in the idea of American responsibilities beyond our NATO alliance, as Pat was mentioning, and our kind of traditional and received acceptance of our special relationship with Israel. I mean, they're talking about a promise to engage in a very volatile part of the world made all the more volatile by the fact that we're now occupying Iraq. That's a big promise, and that's a big advance in American foreign policy thinking that I don't think we've heard either of them articulate in that detail or with that ambition before. So if we were talking about substance rather than tabloid stuff, if the headlines were about real policy issues, I think that is the shocker tonight. That is the headline.
Pat, did Senator Clinton in fact go beyond where Senator McCain is on that particular issue?
Well, I mean, for me, and again, I've got to look at the transcript. For me, I mean, they have talked about, rightly so, but President Bush not thinking this through when he went into Iraq, and Congress not thinking it through when he gave him a blank check. And the impression I got is that any kind of attack or conflict between Iran and Israel, or even these Persian Gulf states, would result in an instant massive response by the United States on Iran. The President of the United States doesn't have that kind of authority. Before you can go to war under the Constitution, we get a declaration of war or authorization of war. I mean, you've got the two of them talking as though the President of the United States is an imperial president who, if he doesn't like someone and they attack someone, he responds.
Well, Pat, I don't know that
you can't do that in America.
Well, Pat, you and I share the same suspicions of the imperial presidency. I don't know that Obama and Clinton sound more imperial than Bush or McCain on this stuff. I don't think they excluded the possibility of seeking an authorization.
Response?
No,
automatic response?
Maybe the automatic response is to seek an authorization of war powers from the Congress. We don't, I mean, in terms of the way they want to do it, that's something that they need to explain more. But the fact that they want to do it, the fact that we would respond to Saudi Arabia, for example, in the same way that it's sort of understood in American foreign policy that we would react to an attack on Israel, I mean, that's a big expansion of America's.
It is a real step. It's a real march forward, and I think there's a lot of people going to be writing about that and talking about that, at least in the back pages of the newspaper. Probably not the front pages. We'll be dealing with Mr. Ayers.
Yeah, the front pages, it's all the, you know, John McCain had a black baby and Barack Obama's a member of the Weather Underground stuff. The tabloid stuff, the fact that it was the full 50 minutes of this debate still is just unbelievable to me, particularly given the Constitution.
I have the transcript if you want to react to it in particular.
Please.
Well, in fact, George, I think that we should be looking to create an umbrella of deterrence that goes much further than just Israel. Of course, I would make it clear to the Iranians that an attack on Israel would incur massive retaliation from the United States, Senator Clinton said, but I would do the same with other countries in the region. We are at a very dangerous point with Iran. The Bush policy has failed, etc. But she goes on to talk about the support of terrorism in Lebanon and elsewhere. And I think this is an opportunity with skillful diplomacy for the United States to go into the region and enlist the region in a security agreement vis-a-vis Iran. It is a rather big umbrella that she's just invoked.
Well, sure. You're talking about a NATO alliance of unstable Gulf states, some of whom which have been condemned because their dictatorships or their monarchies or the human rights are violated there. And we're going to put a NATO umbrella like we put over France and Great Britain and West Germany over them in case of a war with Iran. I don't think so. And I just think they got to explain themselves on this.
The other thing that's weird about this, and I think worrying about this, is because it's specifically about Iran. She's saying that we would need a Middle East umbrella of deterrence specifically around Iranian aggression. Iran is a country that hasn't invaded another country since, what, the 1700s? There may be this sort of, I think, neocon myth about Persian aggression and them wanting to actually invade all of their neighbors, but history shows, honestly, that they don't. And so promoting this idea that Iran is going to be some sort of territorial aggressor aggressor invading other countries in order to expand its boundaries, I think really plays into this myth of Iran in modern history that also I think Hillary Clinton is vulnerable on, because she voted for the Kyle Lieberman amendment.
Let me clarify what Barack Obama said about this. We read Hillary Clinton's quote. Let me read this to you in the last 30 seconds here. I said before, I think it is very important that Iran understands that an attack on Israel is an attack on our strongest ally in the region, one whose security we consider paramount, and that would be an aggression that I would consider an attack that is unacceptable, and the United States would take appropriate action. So the response, Rachel, was not quite at the Clintonian level tonight.
No,
well,
that's
fine,
Obama
frankly.
was more subdued.
So
Yeah,
that's a good response by Barack Obama. In my judgment, it's responsible, and he didn't go too far, but this blanket security guarantee is something new.
Yeah, indeed it is. All right, Rachel and Pat, as always, thank you greatly for your perspectives and your insights, and we actually got some policy in there. What do you know? Right. Rachel Maddow of MSNBC and Air America.
Take it easy, Keith.
Pat Buchanan of MSNBC. Thank you both.